Is Team Avatar full of a bunch of winners? A group with Mamba mentality mindset? Or are they just a bunch of losers? In one of my previous videos, we broke down how Suki was trashing on Team Avatar by saying,
"It seems like every time there's a big battle, you guys barely make it out alive. I mean, you guys lose a lot."
And in that video, we calculated that the gang had a loss total of 9.5 times, ranging from when Aang surrendered to Zuko in the very first episode, all the way to the loss on the Day of Black Sun. You might have thought that I was nitpicking losses in that video, and quite frankly, you'd be right, I was. But it wasn't good faith, because today we are breaking down all of the wins that Team Avatar accrued over their time and journey, and how their record may be better than most people thought. Welcome back to the Casual TV channel, and if you want to check out part 1 of this 2-part miniseries, the link is in the description. Before we get started into the victories and accolades that Team Avatar achieved, I just want to preface this video by saying I'm only going to pick wins against opponents who are clearly their enemies. Meaning I'm not going to give them a win for the Great Divide episode against the Canyon Crawlers, or I'm not going to give Aang a win for beating Toph in the Blind Bandit episode. I feel like that's kind of self-explanatory, but just in case some people wanted me to run the numbers up. Let's start in order from Book 1, the very first 2-part episode. We see Aang lose to Zuko by surrendering to the crew, but he actually gets that win right back by going into the Avatar State and destroying Zuko's Fire Navy ship. We're going to see Aang win a lot of battles with the Avatar State, but this is win number 1 to get the ball rolling. With the next battle, we are going with Aang against King Bumi in the Omashu episode. I guess you could say that Bumi isn't technically an enemy, but in the moment it kind of felt like it. However, I'm actually only giving Aang a half win for this one, because Bumi technically surrendered. He had that rock hovering over his head, so we don't really know how that would have ended. Moving on to the Imprisoned episode, this one's a little self-explanatory, and a full point to the win total of Team Avatar. They helped the earthbending prisoners escape the Fire Nation prison. This one was also never in doubt. It seemed like they won a little bit too easily in my opinion, but this was a good moment for Katara to build her confidence moving forward. Now, I will not count Roku destroying the temple, having Zhao and Zuko flee, just like I did not count it as a loss for them getting captured. But I will give them a win for their battle against the pirates and Zuko, because Aang was literally spinning and throwing dudes off the boat with ease. It wasn't really just a win for Team Avatar in that one, it was also more of an embarrassment for the pirates. Next episode was the Jet episode, and he was close to beating Aang in this instance, but Katara stepped in and helped freeze him to that tree so they could get a tally for that one. In the first part of this series, we gave Aang a loss for running away from the Yuyan archers, but in this version, he gets even because him and Zuko duked their way out of the Fire Nation stronghold and escaped Zhao. A really big battle that changed the way Zuko thought and got Team Avatar another W. The thing that sucks about getting that win with Zuko in the Blue Spirit episode is Aang kicks his ass in the Bato of the water trap fight. This fight is awesome, with great choreography, and everyone contributed from Sokka to Appa. The 4 remaining wins I have tallied in Book 1 is the Aang and Zhao instigation fight where Aang has Zhao burn all of his ships without even using an offensive bending move. Then you got the big battle at the Northern Air Temple where Aang, maybe, just maybe, killed some Fire Nation soldiers by hitting them with an avalanche, and then Sokka and the Mechanist definitely killed some people by blowing up the furnace with the invisible gas. A smaller one that I'm gonna give back to Katara is when they find Aang with Zuko up above the Spirit Oasis, and she does this.
Whoa! Here for a rematch?
Trust me, Zuko. It's not gonna be much of a match.
Pretty easy win there, and the final one everybody knows is the final siege battle where Aang goes all Godzilla on the Fire Nation Navy and secures the dub. So all of Book 1 I have 10.5 wins for Team Avatar, which is already more than the losses we had counted up. But I mean, it makes sense. They would have more wins, especially now, because they're the heroes, and the heroes are supposed to win. So let's hop into Book 2 now and see if we can run up this total for the gang. We start when Aang bodies the Earth Kingdom General in the Avatar State, and I know he's not technically the enemy again, he was low-key trying to kill Katara, and the rest of their troops were attacking Sokka, so I'd call them enemies in that moment. Then we got some smaller wins against the Rough Rhinos in Avatar Day when they pull up to Kyoshi's trial, start tearing it up, and then in the Swamp episode when they're fighting Hugh in the Swamp costume, or the Vines. I really don't know how to say it, but he was in the monster outfit. Then you get some monumental wins that swing the momentum into Team Avatar's favor after a few rough episodes in a row when Azula's chasing them, and they had the desert incidents. You got Katara and Aang beating down the Serpent in the Serpent's Pass. Yeah, I'm counting that one because why not? Then they jump right in and defeat the Fire Nation from entering Ba Sing Se with the drill before they even spent any time there. Now we're gonna time skip a little bit. They battle out at Lake Laogai and find Appa. Appa pays his respects to Longfang by flinging him into the lake from which he came from, and then they win another battle with some great action when they take on the Royal Guards. The way Toph and Aang were moving like Bronn and D-Wade was awesome, so I'm gonna give them a cool point for this one too, just for fun. So book 2, we see the wins dip a little bit with only 7 wins, and that brings the Team Avatar total up to 17.5 wins. Now we hit the home stretch, and we'll move into book 3. Book 3, I'm gonna start with one that I don't think is a win, and that's when they battled the other Fire Navy ship, because it was a battle. They were low-key losing, they had a hole in the ship, and then the Serpent pulled up and helped them escape, or else it would have been a really close loss. The Painted Lady episode, they aura farmed their way to a victory against the Fire Nation factory workers when they didn't have to really do all that, but they chalked it up to a super easy win. Then we got the real Hokage battle with Katara and Hama in the bloodbending episode. Let's call it like it is. Hama was close to reincarnating the Avatar winning that fight, but Katara's like that as we know, and she figured out bloodbending quick. Then Sokka has his moment in the Western Air Temple when he snipes Sparky's Boom Man with his boomerang, and the gang turns around and they give all the credit to Zuko, even though he was literally the one that knocked him in the head. We all know it was you, Sokka. They will always forget about you. For the next dub, Katara and Zuko team up to beat the hell out of some unsuspecting Fire Navy ships to see if Yan-Ra's the captain. I'm not counting knocking Yan-Ra to the ground and threatening him as a win because they were heavily favored, and there's really no end to it. Then the obvious 2 major victories is Zuko defeating Azula for the Fire Nation crown, in an epic and emotional battle, and then the other side is Aang, Sokka, Toph, and Suki, combining their efforts to stop the Fire Nation air fleet, and Aang fulfills his destiny and defeats Ozai. A beautiful ending and a well-earned victory. Team Avatar had some major losses that could have ended balance for the world, but they counteracted that by totaling 23.5 wins. That's just over a win every 2.5 episodes, with a +4 differential with the losses occurring every 6.5 episodes. Team Avatar ends their journey with 23.5 wins to 9.5 losses, which means statistically, they're not just a bunch of kids winging it. They're a problem. Yeah, the losses hurt. Some of them were brutal, but every single one of them helped grow into the group that eventually took down the Fire Nation and restored balance to the world. So was Suki right? Kinda. They did lose a lot. But in the end, Team Avatar showed up when it mattered. Thanks for watching, and if you want more Avatar content, theories, breakdowns, and chaotic what-ifs, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.